menopause and fat loss in general. So whatever anyone's goals are, whatever age they are, this will definitely apply to pretty much everyone in the group. And it's just good to understand. It's just good to understand how it works within the body. We'll never say to fully restrict it. It's down to like everyone's personal choices. But I think if we are well informed, then it's definitely going to help the process and give realistic expectations if we do go forward with it, what is most likely going to happen to the body. So let's get started. These Zoom bars are always in the way. Right, how can I make it go away? There we go. And we're there. Cool. So the biggest thing about alcohol between men and women, oh, Grace is coming to the room, between men and women, is that generally women can't handle alcohol in the same way men can. And that's only purely down to body size. Just because men are bigger, we have more water within our blood. So it's like of a lower concentration. So it's going to have a lower effect on the body. So women's body handle alcohol differently than men's, which leads to these 2 to 3 main effects. So the higher concentration, so it will affect you more. Women have less water in their bodies, making alcohol more concentrated. It has a slower breakdown, so they have fewer enzymes to metabolize alcohol. So it means it technically stays in your body for like, I don't know how much longer, but longer, which means fat loss is put on hold for longer, which you'll learn about in a minute, compared to men. Increased impact. So smaller body sizes means and even smaller amounts of alcohol can cause more significant brain harm than what it would take if someone else drank it in excess with a bigger body. So it's just starting to learn the differences between women's health and where it starts to impact it. So let me move heads again. So the biggest thing is alcohol is processed differently as we age. Lorna's just come in the room. So as women get older, their bodies contain less water, like we've mentioned, leading to a higher blood alcohol level from the same amount of alcohol. So obviously there's generally less water because of a smaller body, but as you age, that water gets less and the concentration increases. So the toxic effects of alcohol gets worse as we age on the body. So it's not great. The next big thing is obviously as we get older, men and women, medications tend to pop up more, and then this can make the toxic effects of alcohol way worse than what it usually is. So it basically leads to a reduced tolerance than what it is to start with. So aging lowers the alcohol tolerance. Midlife and older women are drinking more than previous generations, which just means more increased health problems, A&E visits, and potentially like disruptions from medication that is happening. Increased drinking in older ladies. Oh, we got a chat. I have to go back to work. Okay, Jenna, we'll record this and hopefully you have a good time at work. So many more women drink as they age, using alcohol to cope with stress and depression. Women are more likely than men to relapse due to stress. So studies are showing that even low levels of alcohol can be more harmful than beneficial. And this is usually coming from just have a glass of red wine. It's like good for your blood or it's good for your heart. But studies are showing even a smaller amount, the benefits it gives you are still not worth like the amount for how harmful it can be. Well, you're gonna have to just use the gym, Anna. That's because us old broads are sick of the shit. Well, if you're sick of the shit, stop don't use alcohol. Just go to the gym and just get really buff, and then you'll be buff and sick of the shit. So the main thing is now how alcohol impacts fat loss. So the main thing is alcohol is like empty calories in the sense it has no nutritional value. It has great hedonic potentially and social value because people can have more fun. It also has 7 calories per gram, but again, it's not really got any nutrients in it. So it does a thing which is called reduction in fat oxidation, which is basically the body using fat as a fuel source for energy. So when you consume alcohol, your body prioritizes metabolizing it over other nutrients. So this means fat burning is put on hold, and calories from other sources are more likely to be stored as fat. So obviously the calories within the alcohol as well, and then you're going to get, like, I don't know, if it's like a cocktail that's got loads of excess calories and energy from all the extra sugars, and then usually, definitely in the UK, people like to have kebabs, chips, cheesy chips, in and around large consumptions of alcohol. So these can be getting much more likely to be stored as fat because the body's now too busy trying to metabolize and get rid of this foreign substance, which is the alcohol. So the worst time to be overeating in excess probably is when we've been drinking a lot of alcohol, which is what we are not aware of when it's happening. So the impact, this leads to a temporary halt in fat oxidation, which is fat burning, meaning that fats are more likely to be stored rather used than energy. So yes, it pretty much slows down fat loss. So if people are in fat loss phases, and if anyone is in the photo shoot and you're still drinking fat loss, and you're still drinking alcohol, then that's probably the worst thing you could be doing. And like Faye says, pack it in. We caught someone doing it the other day as well. I won't drop names. I'll tell you after, Faye, and you can tell her off.
Okay.
Faye's going to tell you off, Bishra. How alcohol impacts hormones. Well, we got a message. Stopped now. See? She stopped. She's okay. So alcohol can increase the levels of cortisol. Our favorite word of this group, cortisol. So we know by now chronic cortisol can promote fat storage, particularly around the abdomen, or what we call like visceral fat. So this is because cortisol encourages the storage of fat in the visceral area in around our internal organs, and that is generally down the lower half of our upper body, which is more metabolically active but more dangerous to health. So this is just not good. And obviously we know the effects of chronic cortisol and what it leads to. Alcohol and, like, probably including caffeine will just increase that. Faye's showing me something on the computer. The effect on cortisol. Alcohol consumption can elevate cortisol levels in the body when you drink, especially in excess. It activates the hypothalamic
Pituitary adrenal
HPA gland,
axis.
leading to increased cortisol production. There we go.
That's the scientific terminology for it.
That's a page out of Faye's cortisol guide she's writing right now. Okay, the next one. So how alcohol impacts our metabolism. So alcohol consumption can decrease the metabolic rate, and it will reduce the body's ability to burn fat. So we know why the ability to burn fat was what we spoke about earlier, but how is it, like, impacting your metabolism, like, in other ways? So it will also disrupt the balance of hormones that regulate hunger and satiety. So we've got leptin and ghrelin. So if they start to become more out of whack, then we obviously become more hungry, but then we also become, like, less satisfied with our food. So it starts to become like an endless thirst of hunger, which can't be answered, which obviously leads to overeating, which isn't great. And again, obviously that potentially leading to overeating and weight gain. So it just makes it easier to overeat. And again, like we said, if we're overeating during periods of excess alcohol, it already has way higher levels or ways to be stored as fat because it's too busy trying to lower the actual alcohol. So alcohol can also impair absorption of vital nutrients. So vitamins like A, C, B, E and B vitamins. So again, this is going to impact your metabolism. This will impact your energy as a whole. And we've all seen the metabolism chart, like our TDEE, like total daily energy expenditure. So if we're feeling lethargic, if we've got brain fog, if we're hungover, if we've got zero energy levels, our metabolism will slowly lower because now our overall activity is lower, but then our hunger is higher. It's just not a good pair together. So negative effects of alcohol in the body. So although alcohol is often promoted as beneficial for the heart or as part of a fun lifestyle, it has many harmful effects, especially for women in midlife and beyond. Obviously, we have these all listed right here. So let me move that out of the way. So these are just some of the things that excess alcohol can cause. So brain function decline. Alcohol increases the risk of neurodegeneration. More hot flashes. So this is probably one of the big things. Again, more hot flashes will then disrupt sleep. Disrupted sleep will then just disrupt a lot of things the next morning, the next day, and maybe in the next couple of days. So alcohol can worsen hot flashes by affecting the body temperature regulation. Bone health, it lowers bone mineral density, increasing fracture risk. So like we say, if we're not eating our protein, people aren't resistance training, they consistently drink excessive alcohol. It's like a prime case for, breaking bones really easily as we get older, which obviously we don't want. Sleep issues. So even without the hot flashes, alcohol will disrupt sleep quality by affecting our REM, so our rapid eye movement sleep. Hormone disruption, so it can interfere with hormone balance, worsening menopausal symptoms. The recovery, it impairs energy replenishment and muscle repair. So if we're sort of worked out within that day or day before, it will just make DOMS worse, or like it just puts the recovery on the back burner. Linked to various cancers, including breast and digestive cancers. Dehydration and bloating. So this is another one. You'll hear probably quite a lot. Initially causes dehydration, followed by water retention. So that is just pure increased scaled weight. Doesn't look good if you weighed yourself the next day. Liver damage. Women suffer liver damage from less alcohol with a quicker disease progression. So these are just some of like the highlighted issues. So a lot of people will ask, what qualifies as one drink and what qualifies as moderate drinking? So again, although this is broad, people's body types will definitely dictate making it a little bit different. So some say moderate drinking is defined as 5 to 7 drinks. So that's 14 units per week, but I would probably still think that's quite high. About 1 drink per day to maintain good health. Women should drink moderately or less. So I would say if your goal is fat loss and your goal is weight loss pretty much is fat loss, then I would be drinking probably three drinks or less per week. And if you're trying to really dial it in, then I would be having 0, because we've already seen all of those effects will just indirectly affect so many things of like our sleep, your appetite. It just makes the process way harder, and it will definitely make the process longer. So we've got examples here. I don't know how well these will convert to maybe the American drinks. So an example of 1 drink, we have got the ounces. 12 ounces of beer, 8 ounces of malt liquor, 5 ounces of wine, 3 ounces of fortified wine, 1.5 ounces of 80 proof spirits. Average measurements, a pint of beer, bottle of cider. So yeah, I would say like 1 to 3 or like 0 if we're really very on it for weight loss. But I think as a general health, they say 5 to 7 would be considered moderate. So obviously we want to give some tips after some information. So yeah, a few tips to help limit the damage to the body. So trying different types of alcohol to see what affects you less. So this does not mean drink more, so you can test it, but just maybe try to think what ones make you feel worse. Again, because certain ones can have certain ingredients like barley and hops may affect people who are gluten intolerant, and that would be way worse. So eat before drinking to slow down the alcohol absorption. Drink slowly to reduce the amount consumed. So you just span out drinks just for a longer period of time. Limit the number of drinks in one session. So you obviously just say, I'm going to have 1, 2, or 3 drinks max, and then that is it. Reduce the frequency of drinking. Stay hydrated by drinking water before, during, and after. Favorite tip is to alternate your drink. Have an alcohol drink, have a water drink, have an alcohol drink, have a water drink. And again, that just prolongs it. It keeps you hydrated. And that's probably one of the most practical and realistic advice you could give. Stay hydrated. Yeah, buy your own drinks instead of participating in rounds. And then obviously lower sugar options. So opt for drinks that are lower in sugar and calories, such as dry wine, light beer, or spirits mixed with soda and water. They are probably your best bet, but again, they can get people drunk quicker, and then they forget everything what they were trying to do anyway. So the next thing we have is to avoid cocktails. Obviously, stay clear of sugary mixed drinks and cocktails that can contribute to extra calories. This will just make symptoms like bloating and hot flushes worse. Evening consumption. So avoid consuming alcohol close to bedtime, as it's going to interfere with sleep quality, make night sweats and insomnia worse. So yes, I wouldn't really promote day drinking, but it's probably better to drink it earlier on in the day than it is later at night. But again, just by culture, most people will drink late evening to bed. You all right? He's trying to find something. Well,
No.
I don't know. I think Faye's trying
What
to.
airport do you fly into that when we like in Mallorca?
Oh, it's Grace.